Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of GTA Online Hot Takes, the show where we take your hottest takes and then give my opinions on them. Let's get right into it. Heist with randoms is actually fun. Only if you have nothing else to do in GTA, meaning that there isn't much else to grind for when all your garages are full. I always get a kick out of it when someone charges an insurgent's first ride into the humane labs, and whenever I beat someone to the objective with a slow main vehicle. Are you a psychopath? That's funny for the first time. The second time might give me a giggle. But the third time, I'm not enjoying this anymore. It is pain. It hurts my soul. And it happens too much. No. Stop it. It's ridiculous that Rockstar never gave players the ability to create contact missions with the creator. I'm gonna counter this one with my own hot take. Here's one for ya. If they would have done that, all players would have done with it is to simply make jobs that make you the most amount of money, and Rockstar would spend patch up on patch up on patch trying to fix exploits and everything with it, rather than people actually spending on making something creative and interesting. That's why the content creator was never included with the contact missions, because that is exactly what was going to happen. If you look at the current state of the creator, a lot of stuff on there is just straight garbage. Let's just be honest about it. There's a very niche kind of club of players who make some really incredible stuff, and the same thing would happen with the content creations, although with the contact missions it would just be completely oversaturated with the best job possible and it would just be exploited as shit. Unlike people actually bothering to try to make something creative. Look at captures and survivals. Peter Griffin. You know it's the only thing that you play. It would be cool to choose the location that you go to when getting equipment or supplies, but every time you pick the same location, it will get more and more difficult. So then you have to switch it up a bit. It would probably be broken, but we all know we would rather risk dying repeatedly than going to Polito and back. So to kind of summarize this to make sense, basically what MP Live over here is trying to say is that instead of like getting a random location like, hey, go to Polito and drive a slow truck back, instead, get like a location in LSIA, but every time you choose LSIA, it will get more and more difficult, I guess, up until a certain point. This way, you'll probably be able to risk dying repeatedly rather than having to take a long and slow drive, because obviously finding a way to not die all the time versus having to take a slow drive is undoubtedly much better and more challenging, also more engaging than it would be to just simply go drive the Polito back and forth, which obviously is just not very fun. Rotating vehicles through FOMO is a great idea when executed well, and adds fresh content and reasons to log into the game more regularly, and gives players something to work towards on any given week, and would be a welcome addition to the next variant of GTA Online, making certain vehicle more rare and desirable. Yeah, I get this statement, but I'm sure many people in the comments are going to flame you for it because they're like, drift feed bad, etc. However, I get where Daniel's coming from here, because it does give you a reason to log into the game and stay engaged with the game, which is obviously one of the reasons why Rockstar has done it to begin with. I would be inclined to say, though, that this makes a lot more sense in a new game rather than a game that's rapidly approaching its 10th anniversary. It does make certain vehicles more rare and desirable, but something like an Infernus or a Comet drives on the street and is not super rare and desirable at this point. But in the next game, like they've done with like limited time outfits in Red Dead Online, I could definitely see that being a thing in GTA 6 as multiplayer. I don't think I'd be opposed to it per se. You know, there's definitely people out there who like the idea of having like something exclusive or something that only they have or a very select amount of people have. But yeah, right now in GTA Online, there isn't really an awful lot of space for it, especially if you start doing it after removing 200 vehicles. That's probably a bit of a sour pill to swallow. Just like you, Daniel, you swallow too, bitch. I've always enjoyed doing the Hangar cargo and was never upset to pay too little per hour, because like special cargo, it's not meant to be done solo but instead with friends. The only people that ever complain about them have no friends to play GTA Online with, and I was never bothered to give them another shot. You're trying to tell me that the air missions were actually enjoyable to do and didn't take 15 minutes, and that was the reason why people actually didn't bother with Hangar cargo whatsoever? And it's purely because they didn't have any friends? Cool. I think the primary issue with the Hangar kind of always was the air missions rather than the pay itself. Because even after the fact that they increased the payout, people were still not interested in the Hangar because of those air missions, because they weren't fun to do. They should have never done the menu ammo thing. It's terrible. Being able to instantly reload any weapon at any time has made things like RPG spam way easier to do, and has eliminated reasons I might really want to visit an ammunition or an agency armory. It might as well be called Armor Nation now. Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that. It kind of takes away the whole point, and it does kind of ruin the balance a little bit. I get it that from many aspects, it's meant to be like a convenience rather than like trying a balance thing. It does also kind of take away the purpose of having those shops available for the purchase of ammo. But I think it's more of a quality of life thing where you're in the middle of something like, oh, I forgot to buy ammo. It's a little less immersive too. So I'd be inclined to say like, yeah, fair. But I feel like you're still going to have 20 rockets in you, so I think RPG spam was going to be a thing regardless. And a trip back and forth to the ammunition to get some more ammo, or teleporting to your agency or apartment. You know, there's many other ways how they probably could have just gone simply back to get more ammo and be back in a minute or two. Rockstar adding military and futuristic vehicles saved GTA Online. The game started to get stale around early 2017, but the gunrunning update really freshened up the game a lot with all the wacky vehicles they added. The businesses were one step, but I truly believe that the Oppressor, the Luxor Jetpack, Toreador, etc. were all necessary vehicles to keep the game fresh and exciting. Yes, yes, yes. If it wasn't for those more unique and interesting vehicles like the before mentioned Oppressors, the Luxor Jetpack, Toreador, the list goes on, honestly, like the Scramjet could be in there, Ruiner 2000, the unique and interesting vehicles that are different from the norm, I guess, with another supercar, another sports car, another muscle car, because you can only drive so many of the same type of car until you're like, yeah, I've played this, I've done this, I get it now. Whereas something unique as a Toreador or like a jetpack makes it more interesting. While not all of them are, you know, all that useful, but something like a Phantom Wedge is both useful and very enjoyable to play. So yeah, vehicles like that, definitely a necessity. However, they should really do a better job at balancing them. So if they do include them in the next GTA 6 or maybe even in future updates like they did with the Regu, if they make them balanced and make them still good and enjoyable to use, then yeah, there's definitely still a time and a place for them. I do feel that the past few years, after that 2017 explosion, if you will, of those type of vehicles and the pushback from the community, they definitely were a little bit more held back with it. And I think that because of that, they became a little bit more scared to add them. But with the recent addition of Regu, you can kind of see that they've taken a shift into kind of seeing how the community responds. And so far, the feedback of the Regu has been great. So I think that they're definitely looking into, maybe perhaps looking into getting some more of those wacky vehicles into the game. Because I don't think that everyone is really looking forward to another Clique Wagon. It seems to be like the biggest meme in the car community at the moment. It's like, oh, this, what is this? Why is this here? The Oppressor Mk II is one of the reasons there was lesser used vehicles, so it's one of the reasons why Rockstar considered removing vehicles. Huh? Are you blaming the Oppressor Mk II for the fact that Rockstar removed 200 vehicles? These Oppressor Mk II haters, they blame it for everyone. Like, what's next? Like, it's the reason why children in Africa are dying of hunger. Actually, you might come to think of it, you probably blame it on that too. Get out of here.